All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at birthright citizenship here in the U.S.
Oh, interesting.
We've got some really fascinating stuff from visaverge.com, an article and like a really clear summary too. So by the end of this, you'll know what could happen if things change, and you'll be ready to like jump into any conversation about this because it's a complicated one for sure.
Yeah, it really is. It sounds so simple, right? Be born here, you're a citizen.
Right.
But it can be so controversial, and, the history goes way back.
Exactly. And that makes me wonder, like, how has this whole idea of birthright citizenship or like the formal name just sully?
Yeah.
How's that evolves over time, especially here in the U.S.?
Well, it's really interesting. So the U.S. widely adopted just solely after the Civil War with the 14th Amendment.
Okay.
Before that, it was mostly for free people. But this amendment, it came about directly because of, the injustice of slavery.
Right.
It was all about guaranteeing equal citizenship rights
To everyone.
to everyone born in the U.S., regardless of race or even their parents' status.
So the 14th Amendment, basically at its core, was trying to make sure that everyone born within the U.S. borders is seen as an equal citizen.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But why is it being challenged now?
Well, the 14th Amendment has had, its challenges throughout history.
I bet, yeah.
There's this phrase, subject to the jurisdiction thereof,
Okay.
that just keeps sparking debate.
Yeah.
Former President Trump, he proposed ending automatic citizenship for kids born in the U.S. if their parents are, undocumented immigrants, or even those on temporary visas. He argued that these kids aren't fully under U.S. jurisdiction.
I mean, that sounds like it kind of goes against the whole, equality thing the 14th Amendment was trying to do.
Right.
Didn't the Supreme Court already, settle this a while back?
Yeah, they did. Back in 1898, that was the United States v. Wong Kim Ark case.
Okay.
Pretty landmark. They ruled that, yep, U.S.-born children of immigrants, they get birthright citizenship. So that really solidified the amendment's reach.
It did, yeah.
That case set a precedent that's lasted, well, over a century. But as you can see, people are still debating it.
So it's the interpretation of that one specific phrase that's causing all this controversy.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so what happens if, this long-standing precedent actually changes? What are the consequences, especially for, children born here?
Oh, the impact would be massive. Kids born in the U.S. would, inherit their parents' nationality and immigration status.
Wow.
Imagine the ripple effects. Kids of undocumented parents could face deportation right away.
Really? Even if they've always lived here?
Even if they've lived here their whole lives. And then kids with parents on temporary visas, they might be stuck, no way to become citizens, lives just in limbo.
That sounds so disruptive for families, especially, with all the different family structures we have here. What about mixed status families? Like one parent's a citizen, the other isn't.
It'd be a mess, honestly. Like a patchwork of legal statuses within the same family.
Oh, wow.
Some kids might get citizenship through their U.S. citizen parents. Right.
Well, their siblings don't. It could lead to family separation, more tension, just adds another layer to an already sensitive issue.
This reminds me of that whole birth tourism thing you hear about. Do we even know how often people come here just so their kid gets citizenship?
Birth tourism is tricky.
Yeah, it is.
Hard to measure, and then there's the ethics of restricting travel for pregnant women. It's complicated.
Very. Okay, so ending birthright citizenship, it sounds like that could have a ton of unintended consequences. But wouldn't it also maybe deter people from coming here illegally if they knew their kids wouldn't automatically be citizens?
That's one argument people make, but there are strong counter arguments too.
Oh, interesting.
Some say it could deter skilled workers, entrepreneurs from even coming to the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
And that hurts key sectors of the economy. Agriculture, healthcare, tech, those kind of fields. It could really ripple through the whole country. Yeah, definitely a complex issue with potential economic impacts. And it's clear, doing this would probably create a really large undocumented population.
Yeah.
Our sources mention this risk of statelessness. What does that even mean for people?
Statelessness, it's a bad situation. It means someone's not considered a national by any country.
So they just belong nowhere?
Pretty much. They're denied basic rights, opportunities.
Like what?
Education, healthcare, legal protection. They're constantly hitting roadblocks just because of how they were born.
That's awful. So where does all this go from here? Is this going to be a legal battle for years?
Challenging the 14th Amendment, it's not easy. You need more than just an executive order.
Right.
It needs Congress to approve it, and then 3/4 of the states have to ratify.
Wow.
So yeah, we could be looking at years of legal battles, uncertainty. It could impact millions of people.
This is way bigger than just legal definitions, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We're talking about real lives, the future of families, and what it even means to be American.
Exactly. And it's not just a U.S. thing. Any changes we make here, they could impact immigration policies globally. Some countries might tighten up. Others, like Canada, they also have just saw, they might see more immigration.
So we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
Are there any other approaches being considered?
Yeah, some experts are suggesting like stricter enforcement against birth tourism.
But
Others are saying we need better border and visa oversight. They're trying to find ways to address the concerns
right.
without totally getting rid of birthright citizenship.
Those sound okay, but are there like downsides we should think about?
Oh, for sure. Stricter enforcement, that could lead to racial profiling, discrimination.
Yeah, I see that.
And then better border security, that might mean giving up some civil liberties. It's tough trying to balance security with basic rights, you know?
It is, yeah. And keeping a society that's diverse and inclusive too.
Exactly.
Our sources, they show there are really strong opinions on both sides of this.
Oh, yeah.
One article, it's called ACLU Sues Trump Over Birthright Citizenship Order. That one really focuses on all the legal challenges this could bring up.
And then you have another article, Protecting the Value of American Citizenship.
Yeah.
Seems some folks think birthright citizenship actually makes citizenship less valuable.
That's an interesting point. Does it, though? Like, if someone's born here and automatically gets citizenship, does that somehow devalue it for people who become citizens a different way?
It really makes you think about what it means to belong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not just about who's a citizen, but what goes along with that. You know,
Yeah.
the rights, the responsibilities.
For sure. And our sources also talk about how this impacts specific groups.
Right.
There's an article, U.S. ends birthright citizenship for some.
Yeah.
Over 1 million Indians affected. That one reminds us that this isn't just some theory, it's real people's lives.
Absolutely. We got to remember the people behind the headlines. There's another article, Lost Canadians Bill Delay Leaves Thousands Stuck in Citizenship Limbo. It shows just how complicated these laws can be and how people get caught up in all the red tape.
That's hard. It reminds us to be empathetic, to really try to understand what people are going through. This whole debate, what does it even say about being American?
That's a great question. It gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It makes us think about our values as a country.
Yeah.
Are we all about inclusivity, equal opportunity? Or is it more about security and deciding who gets to belong here?
That's a powerful way to put it. So for people listening, why should we care about this? Does it affect us even if we're not personally touched by changes to birthright citizenship?
This goes way beyond the legal stuff. It's about the kind of society we want, how we define ourselves as a nation, how we treat people who want to be part of the American story.
So we have a role to play then. What can we actually do? How can we be part of this conversation and maybe even influence what happens?
It's important to stay informed, to talk about it respectfully, and let our elected officials know what we think. You can also support groups that are fighting for the rights of immigrants and refugees.
And to stay informed, where should people go? Where can they learn more?
The official USCIS page, that's a good place to start. It explains the current laws, any potential changes.
Right.
And then there are those articles we talked about. They offer some really good insights and different points of view.
Like, Trump pushes to end birthright citizenship in controversial move. Right. That one really captured how intense this debate is and how much it could change things. It sounds like there's a lot out there for anyone who wants to dig deeper.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, it's not just about knowing the facts. It's about hearing different voices, different perspectives. And ultimately, it's about working towards a future where everyone has the chance to succeed.
Before we wrap up, any key takeaway, something to leave our listeners thinking about?
Yeah, as you think about all this, ask yourself, what does it truly mean to belong in a country as diverse as the U.S.? And how can we make sure our policies, our actions, reflect that idea of inclusivity and opportunity for everyone?
Those are big questions, and definitely ones worth thinking about. It's clear this debate is far from over, and it affects all of us. Well, that was a deep dive.
It really was. We covered a lot, the history, the legal stuff, what could happen if birthright citizenship changes here.
Yeah, and the different ways we could approach it and how it affects the whole world.
Right, and we talked about the human side of it too.
Because ultimately, this is about real people. Their hopes, their dreams, where they belong.
Exactly, and that's why it's so important for everyone to understand this issue, to be part of the conversation.
We went through a ton, but where can our listeners go if they want to learn even more?
Well, like we mentioned, the official USCIS page is a great place to start. It lays out the current laws really clearly.
Oh, right. And those articles we talked about, those were really eye-opening.
Yeah, like US ends birthright citizenship for some, over 1 million Indians affected.
Right, that one really showed how this could actually impact people.
ACLU sues Trump over birthright citizenship order. That one laid out all the legal battles we could see.
And then protecting the value of America's citizenship, that one got into some really deep questions about what it means to be a citizen.
And Lost Canadians' bill delay leaves thousands stuck in citizenship limbo. That one showed how messy these laws can be.
Yeah, definitely something to think about.
And of course, Trump pushes to end birthright citizenship and controversial move. That one really captured the heart of this whole debate.
So much to think about.
It really does show how important this issue is and how much it could change America.
As we wrap up, I'm left with this feeling like we need to do something.
Yeah, me too. This isn't just some theoretical discussion, it's a call to action.
The future of birthright citizenship, what America stands for, it all comes down to what we do, what we choose.
We all have a part to play, staying informed, talking about this thoughtfully, and fighting for the kind of society we want.
One that gives everyone equal opportunity. That's what matters.
That's the power of knowledge, of really understanding something as complex as this.
And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive, giving you the information you need to make sense of the world.
So to all our listeners, keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep talking about this.
Because the future belongs to those who are willing to really dig deep.
And together, we can make a real difference.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.